There's something nobody tells you about the moments you can't stop replaying in your head. The conversation you analyzed 17 times. The opinion of someone you don't even respect that somehow still stings. The version of yourself you performed in a room full of people who have already forgotten you were there. You didn't choose to care that much. You just did. And here's what makes it worse. You know it doesn't matter. Logically, rationally, completely, you know. And yet knowing has never once been enough to make you stop. That's not a character flaw. That's not anxiety. That's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. But there are two words, just two, that can interrupt that cycle at its root. Not suppress it, not distract from it, actually interrupt it. Those two words are so what? And I know that sounds dismissive, reductive, like something a motivational poster would say while completely missing the point. But stay with me because the psychology behind why this works will change how you understand your own mind. The root, why you care in the first place. The brain has a system called the salience network. Its entire job is to flag what matters: threats, social rejection, judgment from others. And for most of human history, being rejected by the group wasn't just uncomfortable, it was dangerous. It could get you exiled, alone, dead. So your brain learned to treat social discomfort like physical pain. It learned to rehearse embarrassing moments not because you're weak, but because rehearsal felt like preparation. Like, if you could just figure out what went wrong, you could prevent it from happening again. The problem is that system was built for a world that no longer exists. You're not going to get exiled from the tribe because you said something awkward in a meeting. But your brain doesn't know that. It just keeps flagging, keep looping, keep caring. Because from its perspective, caring kept you alive. This is what psychologists call hyperactivated threat processing. Your brain misidentifies social discomfort as genuine danger and fires the full alarm. And once the alarm is going, logic alone can't turn it off. You can't think your way out of a feeling that your nervous system has decided is an emergency. That's why just stop caring never works. You're trying to override hardware with willpower. The reframe, what, so what, actually does. Here's where it changes. So what isn't an emotion? It's not a feeling you force yourself to have. It's a cognitive redirect, a specific pattern of questioning that comes directly from two branches of psychological research: cognitive behavioral therapy and acceptance and commitment therapy. In CBT, it's called decatastrophizing. The idea is that anxiety and overcaring are almost always built on an unexamined chain of assumptions. You feel embarrassed about something, and underneath that embarrassment is a quiet belief. This matters permanently. This defines me. This will follow me. So what is the question that breaks the chain? Not aggressively, not sarcastically, gently, genuinely. You ask it like a detective, not a cynic. Someone judged you. So what? What's the actual consequence? They think less of you. So what? How does that change your day next week? Maybe they tell someone. So what? Does that person's opinion materially affect your life? You follow the thread, step by step, until you reach the actual bottom of it. And almost every time, the bottom looks like this. Nothing catastrophic happens. The thing you've been rehearsing in your head at 2 a.m. has an ending. And the ending is just fine. Uncomfortable, maybe, but survivable. Already survivable. That's decatastrophizing, and it works because it doesn't fight your feelings. It just asks them where they're going. Does this sound familiar to you? The loop that feels endless, but when you actually trace it out loud, leads nowhere? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. The deeper layer. What you're really afraid of. Now here's the part most people miss. And this is important. So what is not about becoming someone who doesn't care? That's not the goal. Caring is not a weakness. It's how you love people, build things, stay connected. The goal isn't indifference. The goal is selective caring, intentional caring, caring about the things that are actually yours to care about. Because here's the truth. Most of what you're overcaring about right now isn't even yours. Someone else's interpretation of you, not yours. A perception formed in 3 seconds by someone who doesn't have full context. not yours. A version of you that exists only in someone else's imagination, not yours. When you ask, so what, you're not dismissing the situation. You're drawing a boundary around what actually belongs to you. You're separating the signal from the noise. You're saying, this thing lives in someone else's mind, and I do not have to move into it. In ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy. This is called cognitive diffusion, the idea that you can see a thought without becoming it. You can notice, I'm worried they think I'm incompetent without building your entire afternoon around defending against it. The thought is just a thought. The worry is just a worry. So what creates that gap, that small but life-changing space between the trigger and your response? Viktor Frankl called that space the last of human freedoms. The freedom to choose your reaction. 2 words. That's the door to it. The practice. How to actually use it. This only works if you use it like a real tool, not a platitude. Here's how. The next time something hooks you, a comment, a memory, a social replay your brain keeps running, don't try to stop caring. Instead, get curious. Trace it, out loud if you can, on paper if that helps. Start with, I'm bothered because, then ask, so what does that mean? And when you get an answer, ask again, so what does that mean? Keep going. 3, 4, 5 levels deep. Most people stop at level 1 because level 1 feels like the truth. It's not. Level 1 is just the surface tension. The real story is underneath it, and when you get there, you'll usually find one of 2 things. Either the fear dissolves because it was never as solid as it felt, or you find something real, something that actually matters to you. And if you find something real, you can deal with it. You can act on it. You can grieve it or fix it or accept it. Both outcomes are better than the loop. The close, what actually matters. You were never weak for caring too much. You were just using a tool designed for survival in a context that didn't require it. Your brain was doing its job. It just needed better information. So what gives it that information? 2 words that don't tell you to be cold or distant or above it all. 2 words that just ask your fear to show its work. And most of the time, under real examination, the fear can't. The things that are actually worth your care will survive that question. They'll still matter on the other side of it. And the things that were never really yours to carry, they'll quietly let go. That's not caring less about life. That's finally caring about the right things. And that might be the most freeing thing you ever give yourself.